Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us here at the Ice Palace, West Edmonton Mall, Sunday, Championship Sunday. Before we get to the noon game, we have a little bit of fun to have. The first annual Brickley Showdown between the Styles Division and the Wixton Division, here with the teams participating in the Brick Invitational 2022. Of course, not including the two teams that will be playing later in the championship. That'll be Team Minnesota and Team Connecticut. They will be looking forward to finalizing this tournament for us. The 2012 is looking to put on a showcase here this morning. Just to give you a quick update on how this is going to happen. We have the Wixton division that is wearing the home jerseys, but they're sitting in the away bench that include the Toronto Bulldogs, CCM Chicago, Detroit Junior Red Wings, Manitoba Junior Ice, Toronto Pro Hockey, and the Western Selects. And in the Styles division is wearing all whites in the home bench. That includes Team Brick Alberta, BC Junior Canucks, Boston Junior Bruins, Montreal Canadiens, Team PA, and Saskatchewan Junior Pats. It'll be a 4-on-4 format, 20-minute time limit per period, so 3 20s. There'll be a flood perhaps in between, we don't know, depending. Each goalie, there's 3. So I believe there's 4 on the Styles division. We'll see how that happens. But yeah, they'll play 1 period each. There will be no penalties. So if the penalty is called, guess what? We get to see a penalty shot. We saw one yesterday. Josh Hackett from Toronto Pro Hockey. But maybe we'll see a couple more this fine morning. My name is Theo Tutkaluk on ASTV. Thanks for joining us this morning. I normally do the color for the games here at the Brick Invitational. We'll step in and have some fun and let these boys get one last skate on the ice. It's a collection of players from each division, the Wixton and the Styles. 3 players and a community goaltender decision for each team. And each team will go to their respective benches. And we'll start this wonderful Brickley Showdown, the first annual Brickley Showdown. Normally we see the officials in the red and blacks. But have we got a gem for you? 2 officials. You might recognize the gentleman wearing the number 88. No, that's not Eric Lindros. The official wearing number 88, if you go back in the Wayback Machine from the NHL, Mike Civic. Yes, Mike Civic. Once the tallest NHL referee in the NHL. 30 years, 1,868 games. An All-Star game, the outdoor game in Calgary, Vancouver 98 All-Star game. Olympic gold medal game in Salt Lake City 2002, just to his records. And joining him, Norm Shaw. We've seen Norm many, many times throughout the Brick Invitational. His 33rd year at the Brick. 40-year veteran of the Dub, the A, and Hockey Alberta. He's now the referee-in-chief of the HSL and the Referee Academy. And he's also a stand-up comedian when he's not an official. Many, many stories Mr. Norm Shaw can tell you. So as mentioned, we have the Styles division wearing the dark jerseys. And the Wixton wearing the darks, the Styles wearing the lights. Interesting to see how these players get to play with one another and the chemistry and how they understand the hockey sense, because one thing definitely on display throughout this entire tournament, as well as last week, was just how incredibly smart these players are on the ice. The position sense, understanding to put the puck in an open area where their teammates can go get it first, the 50-50 pucks, as we see a great save there by Mason Curry on Haringa, the junior Red Wing. I also see no face-offs. And already we might have a too many men penalty here. There's 5 whites on there for versus 4 darks. Don't know if Shaw picks that up or not, but we'll see what happens. He's letting them play, letting the boys play. Oh, they figured it out now. Was the goal scorer of the tournament, 9 goals throughout the week. Flavio Di Placido getting checked there by Lee from the Red Wings. Alberta Hockey wearing their 3rd jersey, the red and white stripes, similar to a, also hearing a bit of a horn for the, they're using the horns to get a line change. So it's back in the old days when you used to have, 2-minute line drills and you have to get the new fresh 4 on there. So, and there is our goal scorer, as mentioned, Josh Hackett from yesterday, scoring on that penalty shot that was awarded to him in that game versus Connecticut. Puck down low. There's Hackett working with Selch. He's joined there by Dean Zaccaro and Leibowitz from Western Selects. Western Selects had a program that was very interesting because a lot of these programs have to pick an elite group of players. Look at that shot by Leibowitz, up and over the blocker. 1-0 for the Wigstons. A great shot as he gets some congratulations from some of his players. And we'll get a face-off here, I believe, at the center ice. As mentioned, the Western Selects have the largest geography to cover an elite program as such, drawing players from California, Nevada, Texas, Arizona, possibly Alaska, Oregon, so all the western states. And if you look at their roster, it's very much well spread out. So try to get all of these players, all of these young kids together to practice, get on the same page is very difficult. Speaking with a couple of the dads over the week, it sounded like they were all in Los Angeles or near LA for a week prior to the tournament to get them on the ice to practice. And here comes Clive Vishinter on a breakaway and gets checked there by the junior Canuck. A little bit of a bump there between Chen and Smart. Oh, Civic laying the body. Hammered by Civic. The referee has none of that. Matthew Dodick, what a smooth skater for his size. Had a great final game there with an assist, just moving 200-foot game. Tremendous skating ability, good ice presence, good ice sense. Shot on Courier, the save in the pad. Rebound coming to Chen. Chen unable to get the shot all the way down. Dodick throws it up top, off the knob of the stick. And Courier keeps it out of the net. Just can't keep it in is Celebrini for Western. And here comes Haringa for the Junior Red Wings. Gets checked there by Di Placido. Di Placido getting on the horse. Around the horn he goes, up to the junior Pat, up to Team Brick, just unable to get it to the forward there. In net is Christian Ariana for the Wigstons, the away team. There's Kessler Kennedy doing his quick circle. Trying to get it back to Almeida. Almeida gets checked, and here comes Lee. Another member of the Junior Red Wings. Lee gets a shot on Curry in the save. His teammate Haringa able to get the puck on the far boards. Gets checked there by the junior Pat and Kennedy. Here comes 2-on-2 to Di Placido. Di Placido tries to go inside out on Calder, and a great stop by the young defenseman, who actually plays forward, I believe, for the Western Selects. So great work by him. Shout out to our cameraman Dale. Working the Brick tournament the entire 2 weeks. I bet you if you had to guess an over-under on how many pictures he's taken this 2 weeks, I'm going to say 12,500. Cody's nodding. Big cannon from the point by Selch and Nickel. Talk about a tandem. We talked a lot about tandems over the course of the week. And the Manitoba Junior Ice had one in Lyric Selch, number 88, and Cale Nickel, number 10. One of the great tandems that not able to get to the playoff round. Each player respectively part of the 10-point crew. We talk about the 10-point crew a little bit, being that this is the NHL draft last week. And you looked at the first round players, 32 players. 16 of them were from North America. And 10 of those 16 players played in this tournament in the birth year 2003. So we did a bit of research off camera. We found out that 10 of those 16, so just about 64% of those players mentioned that were drafted from North America, played in this tournament with the birth year 2003. So that would have been 8 years ago. 9 years ago, sorry. Pretty impressive. Here's McBride, who plays for the Junior Canucks. Takes it in wide, gets checked there by the Red Wings. Up comes Leibowitz, the goal scorer. Leibowitz with Zuccaro. Tries to get it to Zuccaro. Checked there again by the Junior Canuck. And up to Gallagher. Got 3 Junior Canucks skating with a lone Team Brick player. Don't know if that was a coaching decision, putting all the players together, but nonetheless, we'll see what happens. Wall's going for a change. Leibowitz up to Zuccaro. We're seeing some beginning chemistry between these two players as they were working together hand in hand. McBride throws it up. Just goes wide of Ariana. Ariana, one of the bigger goalies here, and flashing the leather throughout the week. Doing a tremendous job. A couple of great glove saves throughout the week, and really doing a great job between the pipes for Toronto Bulldogs. Unsuccessful in that championship final game, or sorry, semifinal game, as they lost. Shot there, saved by Curry. Manders grabs the rebound, and it's stopped there by the Junior Pats, unable to get to the full net. Cody, you going to join me for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm going to join you for a little bit here, Theo. Seems like, just having somebody to banter off of definitely helps a little bit with the play-by-play in color, or, our edition of it here today. So,
Cody Wall, who's been working everything behind the scenes these not 1 week, but 2 weeks. Cody, you've logged in 91 out of 92 games thus far. How's the sleep?
Oh, definitely lacked a little bit on the sleep part, but it's been a fun 2 weeks here. I've said to everybody who will kind of listen to me that, I've followed this tournament for a number of years, just, watching on YouTube, seeing highlights, and, as you mentioned, all the number of players that have played in this tournament that have gone on to play such high levels of hockey, but actually being here and experiencing it has just been another level. Like the electricity felt at last week's championship game, it just gave you goosebumps watching and hearing the cheering and all that. And I anticipate our championship game coming up here just at noon is going to be the same thing. It's just going to be electric.
We have the 2011s last week. Had an All-American final, correct, between the Connecticut Junior Rangers and the Western Selects.
Yes, they did.
We see the same thing with the Connecticut Junior Rangers in the 2012 division, this time playing against Team Minnesota. What have you liked about just the hockey in general, Cody, and just watching not only the differences in the years, but just how amazing their hockey sense is on the ice for these young players? Well,
it's crazy. You watch how talented they are. And, it's hard to remember that these are 10-year-old and 11-year-old kids. You see stuff that I've said off air. You could take 5 of me, who is 28 years old, and try to go against one of these 10-year-olds, and these 10-year-olds would just mop the floor with me. They're so good. The talent is just next level.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. We're now seeing the Styles division throwing out 3 players from the same team and adding the extra add-on for the fourth, maybe to possibly tie up this game 1-0, as we see a pass over to Kenny Kim for the CCM Hockey. Blinded by the sun there, Cody. Sorry. I'm looking at all these black jerseys and realizing that there's 6 different teams here. 6 different teams represented on the ice here. Like I said, the Wigston and the Styles. The Wigston wearing the dark jerseys. There's Simpson with a shot on Curry. Off the glove, and like great glove save by the fan.
Looks like we got a couple goaltenders in the crowd here.
That almost went second deck. Like way up there. Nonetheless, fan wanted to keep the souvenir. So we get a puck from Honda, AKA Mike Civic. I don't know if he could fit in a Honda Civic, but we'll ask him maybe.
Yeah, he definitely is a very tall guy. Seeing him walking around here, definitely get the feeling that he's got to duck a lot. Watching him come through doorways, he is hard to make a guess, but he's got to be over 6'5", I would say.
He was a tremendous official in the NHL. One of the taller presences, a no-bull referee.
He's a guy that I'm pretty sure, back in the day, breaking up some of those scrums, he's a guy that, you wouldn't want to be getting in a scrum where he's taking advantage or taking you out of.
Yep, he handles his business well. As we see the junior Canadian getting intercepted there. Almeida tried to make a pass over there. Zucaro makes the interception. He's now got one of his teammates in Cudio, another good tournament as well. One of the setup men for CCM Hockey. Looks like it's Josh Hackett coming up.
Yeah, he had that beautiful penalty shot goal that you were talking about, Theo. Oh, that was just so silky smooth. That Pavel Datsyukian-esque move to, put Toronto Pro Hockey within reach of trying to get back into the finals. Looking around, it looks like the Toronto team's definitely a team that predominantly having a good showing here in the Brick.
Yeah, both Toronto clubs able to make it to the playoff round on Saturday, just unable to get that second win of Saturday. But we do have that goal up on our website, correct?
We
will have that goal up.
We will have that goal up on our website. Yeah.
Josh Hackett, breakaway penalty shot goal. Just like you said, an absolute silky smooth move. Talking to him after the game, he says to me, "I just took what the goalie gave me." I was like, "Whatever, man. You knew exactly what you were doing," and hit the back of the net. It was absolutely amazing. Oh.
That's another thing with these kids. They have so much swagger when talking to them in the interviews. Some of them, have so much confidence you can see, but it's not a kind of cocky confidence. It's just they understand that, they are what they are. They're good hockey players getting this opportunity, and, you shouldn't be ashamed of being who you are, being a great high-end hockey player like that.
Couldn't agree with you more, Cody, on that. I mean, you look at the combination of who they are, the opportunity to showcase their talents, and just you can hear the absolute joy and love of the game in their voices talking to the players afterwards that, is unmatched. And, yeah, I mean, we're playing a showcase here. We're playing with the elite players from all over North America. Bottom line is these kids love hockey. They love playing a sport, and kudos to them to have the opportunity to do this. As a shot goes wide there by the player from Team Brick. Team Brick's wearing a jersey that doesn't have any name bars on it. So I don't know if there are actual numbers on there, Cody, so I apologize. Here comes Celebrini, and a goal there. Little dipsy-do, if you will. And that's 2 markers now, as Leibowitz is second, actually.
Going to try and take advantage of that little bit of a celebration there is the Styles division, but not quite able to capitalize there. And there's Pearsall. He's a player that we got a chance to watch, not just this week, but last week. And, I got a chance leading up to this tournament to talk to Pennsylvania's coach, Trevor Edwards. And he was a guy who, leading up into this tournament, he kind of gave us a little bit of insight on my show, Theo, Off the Wall with Cody. And I know you had got a chance to speak to a couple of the other coaches from Regina and Toronto. But when talking to Trevor Edwards, Pearsall was a guy who, when talking to him, seeing who might be a standout, Pearsall was the name that was mentioned for both tournaments.
It's pretty impressive that he was able to play a year up in week 1 and then to play against his own players' birth year in the second week. And talk about a guy that, like you said, hand comes up, whistle gets blown. We're going to see our first penalty shot.
And we'll see if we can see another silky move like we did yesterday on this one.
Let's see if this player takes what the goalie gives him, quote unquote. And this is Team Brick Alberta. It's going to be Carter White for Team Brick. Mike giving him the final instructions.
Oh!
And he does get it in with the final dink. Probably 17 back and forth. Outweights Christian Ariana and just slides it by. On the far post is Carter White to get the Styles division on the board. It's now 2-1 with 2:42 left in this first frame. Again, 20-minute running time periods, 4-on-4 hockey. And we're hearing the light whistles to remind players to get a change. We also have a goaltender change from Team Alberta. We're going to see Dylan Lavalley, who was probably one of the better netminders throughout the entire tournament. He had a sub-1 goals against average. Just a tremendous defensive group was Team Brick. Very tight in their off defensive zone, able to clear a lot of those rebounds out. And that was a key ingredient for teams to have good success here, as we see a lot of the shots from the point having some power, but obviously at that age, they're sliding them across. Pass over to Mashinter from Dodic, and a great job by the two players that play on the same team, actually, making a little chemistry there.
You had mentioned how Team Brick Alberta kind of had that defensive idea, or defensive model of game. That was something I noticed. It seemed like each of the teams from each area kind of had, between the 2012 and 2011s, they each kind of had their own identity. Like looking at the Bulldogs, they're kind of, both teams were a bit of a more offensive team. They were able to put up more numbers. Brick, both tournaments seem to be a bit of a more defensive-minded. So it's just interesting to see, what the geographical area kind of produces for hockey in talent-wise and, the way they play.
The hockey philosophy by the demographic and the geography, absolutely.
Exactly what I was trying to say.
You see areas of North America focusing on offense. You see, other teams focusing on defense. You see, some teams, especially the 2011s last week, working on neutral zone traps. Talk about the Western Selects. Another sport that a lot of these players probably grew up with was roller hockey. And I know from coaching down in California that a lot of the kids I picked on my rosters were, in fact, roller hockey players at one point in their life. So, the two sports go hand in hand. Where there isn't a lot of roller sport, like in Manitoba or in Saskatchewan perhaps, they have to focus more on the conscious side of the other game, where it could be defense, could be, a neutral zone trap area. But yeah, like you said, each team has its own identity based on its geographical intention. So interesting to see that. Good concept there. Good comment there, Cody. I like that.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. He's not just the guy behind the scenes. He's got a pretty good hockey sense. Cody Wall. Props to Cody, as well as Mark Kincaid. When we talk about you guys, Mark's been here also since week 1, working the cameras here. And that'll wrap it up. We're not, I don't think we're going to get a flood. I think we're just going to, we'll see what happens here. It's the flood is up in the air. We don't know if they're going to be doing a flood or not. We don't know if they're going to be just going straight to the second period. We'll wait and see, and they'll decide what they wish to do. but it looks like they're going to stay on the ice for between the first and the second here. So, yeah.
I'm going to sign off for a bit here, Theo, and we're going to pass it over to Mark Kincaid, another gentleman you just mentioned that had been a big part of helping us here with the both weeks, the 2011 and 2012. But so for all you guys listening at home, thanks for tuning in. And I was Cody Wall here doing a little bit of the banter and calling with Theo here, so thank you.
Cody, it's always great to hear your voice, and I look forward to chatting with you upcoming in the next couple of weeks on the recap of the Brick.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
I got some thunder and lightning in my ears as we passed over the mics right there, but hopefully Cody had me on mute, because I tell you, I could have had to put some money in the jar there, Cody. Nonetheless, second period action here starting. We're not changing sides. We're going to stay on the same sides. We have the netminder from Team Brick Alberta joining us. It's Lavalley, number 60, and Cody Maselko.
It looks like they finally changed goalies there on the one end.
They're switching goalies every period. There's 3 on each side, and there's a 4th one for the Styles division and the team in white. So they got to do a little hybrid 16-minute action.
Okay.
Nonetheless, but joining me, Mark Kincaid. Mark.
Hello there, Theo. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Great to chat with you. Finally, do a little fun stuff here in the next period.
That's right.
So tell me about the new show that you're working on here. You're fairly new to ASTV, but give us a little rundown on what's going on in Saskatchewan and what the show is and what it's all about.
Well, I am doing a couple shows. One is going to be the Indigenous Sports Show. So I am going to have some guests on, hopefully once a week, and just talk about the route that they took to get to where they are. You know, kind of the ups and downs of getting there, some of the struggles, some of the great things that have happened along the way as well. But I want to hear their stories. I want to hear, you know, the in-depth of where they came from and where they're going and how they got there. And so far, some of the people that I've been talking to that I got rounded up for the show, it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be fun. And I think for the first show that I got coming on, I might have 3 generations on. There's a grandson, the son, and the grandfather.
Very cool.
Are going to share their stories. So hopefully I can still get them on. But we got to get finished this first, and then I got to get organized when I get back to Saskatchewan for that. And then another show that I am doing is called Out and About in Sports in Saskatchewan, or Out and About in Sports. So I'm just randomly going to different sporting events in and around Saskatchewan, whether it's ball, hockey, lacrosse, dance. You know, hopefully I can get in some powwows, even stuff like that. And I just want to pull people out from there, have interviews with them, and again, just hear their stories and, you know, give them some exposure that not necessarily they thought that they would have. Hopefully, well, so far people have been pretty perceptive to it. I've never had someone turn me down for an interview, and so far it's been going really good.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. Brock Manders there scoring the goal for the Wigston Crew from Toronto Pro Hockey. He was one of the leading goal scorers for Pro Hockey throughout the week. Tremendous presence in front of the net. Good wrist shot there. And just able to beat Lavalley.
Yeah, there's so much talent out here. I was busy doing a lot of filming for this past week, and just you get to know these different players. You know that, okay, this guy's got the puck, so he's going in and probably going to take a shot, so I'll start focusing in. You just start to get that feel for some of these kids. And
you also had a daily brick show.
Oh, yes. Yep.
During this tournament, as well as last week as well, talking to some of the coaches, the organizers.
Some behind-the-scenes guys that not necessarily people know are here running things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I've had Sonny Secon. He's the director of volunteer services. Great guy and busy guy. I've had Chris Devlin, one of the officials. So we got to hear some of his perspectives of the whole week-long thing. We've had Dale McMillan, the photographer for the tournament. Very interesting guy. NHL.
He doesn't do just hockey stuff. He does everything.
He does everything. Yeah, he does.
Sat with Dale last night for a little bit and chatted with him about the photography work he does. And
oh, great! So you got some more information on him.
He's quite the storyteller. Let me tell you that. I mean, and you have to be when you do that many photography sessions all over the world.
For sure, and the stories he would have would be unbelievable. He was telling me how he does the NHL cards.
Yes.
And wow, just that alone is interesting.
Very cool. Yeah. Leibowitz looking for his third, going for the Hattie when the Western selects, just unable to slide it by Lavalley there. And Team Brick. I like these Team Brick jerseys. I just wish their name bars were a little bit more easy to read.
That's what I was saying. Tarsi had no problem for some reason reading them, but I did.
Well, maybe Tarsi knew some of these players prior to. But
True.
I don't have that luxury, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, it just amazes me how you and Rory just know all these names. You study the names, you memorize them. So when you come to do the play-by-plays and the color, you guys just whistle them off like you've known these kids forever.
Seamless, yeah.
Seamless, yeah. That's a talent for sure.
You know, Rory's. I mean, it was great working with Rory all week. I mean, Rory McGoran, he's the play-by-play voice of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League's Humboldt Broncos.
Yeah.
And he's been there for several years, and just a tremendous talent. Working with him in Winnipeg back in the day when we first started ASTV, doing a couple of games and whatnot, and doing a tournament out in Thunder Bay.
Yeah, he's a treasure to have here, that's for sure.
Yeah.
To have him
very
do these.
blessed to hear his voice on the call. Very wonderful. I was just happy to work with him again.
Yeah.
This week, so it's been fun.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to do some color commentary for him when he first came, and yeah, it's been a great experience for me, a great learning experience. Like you said, I'm fairly new to ASTV, and all this stuff is new, but I'm coming away from this weekend for sure that much smarter, I guess. Now things are running.
Absolutely, no. It's good to have you on the team, Mark, that's for sure.
That was nice that Cody got to be on the air for a bit. All the hard work he's been doing.
You know, like you guys, I mean, both of you don't get enough credit this last couple of weeks. I mean, you do a lot of behind-the-scenes work. You know, I think we only had, I wouldn't even call it a slip-up, Cody. The seamless work the two of you have done, making sure we're on time, making sure the cameras are all ready to rock, the angles, the goal cams we've been able to display here.
Unreal.
Just putting ASTV into that next level when it comes to broadcasting and showing the game, and every game, any sporting event.
Yep, any sporting
from the
event.
differing angle. We got the, obviously, we've got our 360 cam that run, our 180 cam that runs on the side. We've got our end zone cams. We've got our goalie cams. All giving proper reference, just as if you were watching, something on a national broadcast per se.
Yep.
And just able to go in and out of that. Cody and you have done a fantastic job putting that together, and even with the instant replays you guys have put together, and just tremendous work. I really want to thank you guys for everything you've done. So.
Well, thank you, Theo. That's nice of you to say, but you guys are the front men of it. Then that's. You got the soothing voices and
put the women and children to bed and go looking for dinner, right?
Yeah. I just wish we would have got the actual net cam going. We had that set up, but it just wouldn't function right. But next year, absolutely for sure, we will have those tickety-boo, and we will have even in
Great
the net.
save there by Maselko on Broccolini.
Yeah, he's really moving. They're putting him to the test.
Peter Broccolini is not the tallest of fellas, but he could be one of those names you hear in 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
you talk about a guy that has tremendous ice presence, wonderful vision, one of the most unselfish players we see all week. He was able to put the puck in the net when he needed to, but he was pass first with his two line mates in Theo Lassard and Chase O'Toole, playing with them most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that Montreal team, I really thought they had a good shot getting there, and they did.
Oh,
Just had to play those 2 games on Saturday, and you could see in that second
they
game
were wearing down.
they were wearing down, exactly. Just didn't get the speed to get that separation in the neutral zone. And there's going to be a lot of speed on display here at 12 o'clock.
Oh, yes.
And a lot of goal scoring perhaps, but I mean, it's a tale of 2 teams. And like Cody mentioned, it's the hockey sense within the geography.
Yeah.
And the Connecticut team has one extremely strong line. Equally to the task is Minnesota's top line between the 7s and the 2s in Kaiser, Jarvie, and Jack Allgood, who led the tournament in points. But you look at Bremen and his line mates for Connecticut.
It is going to be.
Whalen, a good shot by
nice
DiPlacido. DiPlacido finally getting on the wheels, and he's beating Maselko there. We got something on the ice. I don't know what it is, but
Well, it's not a squid, so.
no squids. If you were catching the games during the week, the Detroit Junior Red Wings were sneaking in some crustacea.
Yes.
And props to the officials for hand bombing those bare hand.
Yeah.
One official actually did bring out a Ziploc.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, they Ziplocked the last one. I guess it was a 2-pounder, and they wanted to keep it for the next game. But
okay.
Nonetheless, I don't know where they got the squid from.
I don't know either.
We're not near an ocean.
No.
But nonetheless, the squid was thrown on the ice. Unfortunately, one of them split in 2.
I did. The poor official.
You had one in each hand. But just part of the excitement and the culture of the game here and the support that these players get from their home fans. I mean, you talk about where these players come from. We talked about the Western Selects and their large geography pool.
Yes.
Connecticut, you think about Connecticut being up in the northeast part of the United States, but you've got New Jersey, you've got New York State, you've got Vermont, you've got Connecticut, you've got Mass. Or Mass had Boston Junior Bruins, I'm sorry. So Connecticut had that whole area taken care of. And the makeup of these teams wasn't always just the winter team. If you looked at a lot of these rosters, there could have been 4, 5, sometimes just 2, almost 9 teams of different winter teams brought together to play in this showcase week for the Brick Invitational. And just to develop and build that chemistry that quickly,
That's
it's absolutely
amazing.
tremendous.
Absolutely. I always wondered, okay, how did these teams get made up? Where do they practice? How do they practice? It just amazes me.
There it is, another goal there for Wigston, as I believe it was Cale Nickel. Cale Nickel, the leading goal scorer for the Manitoba Junior Ice. Tremendous shot over the glove of Luc Brisebois, who's now in net from the Saskatchewan Junior Pats. 4-2 is our score for the Wigstons. But yeah, Cody and I were able to chat through the month of June on his show Off the Wall with Cody and On the Ice with myself, with some of the coaches and some of the organizers, the CEOs of these hockey programs, and a lot of them spend a good year scouting, looking at players, developing camps, prospect camps, getting a local arena, local rink involved so that they can have a weekend to have 3 or 4 skates, ice sessions together to evaluate the talent and the players.
So much time and effort. Wow.
It's not just picking up these kids in a week and a rabbit out of a hat. This is planned, and you know what? And it's an investment for these kids. Let's be honest. I mean, it's not cheap to come from a place like Montreal or Connecticut out to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and
it's a lot of money.
There's and the investment money-wise, but also the wealth of the sport and the talent on the ice is matched. And I think that's the most important thing, is allowing these kids to showcase their talents in a sport they really love and have the opportunity to do.
But a good 80% of these kids will be moving on to an upper level hockey.
You know
Absolutely.
what? This is just the beginning. We're talking AAA hockey, junior hockey, professional hockey. Like we said, great job there by Carter White. Carter White matching up the goal by Dean Zuccaro. Back and forth action we are seeing here from the first ever Brickley Showdown is what they're calling it here at the Brick Invitational 2022. This is the 2012 year. These gentlemen are all 9 and 10 years old.
And you would swear that they were at least teenagers. They're just, especially that CJR, they're just, wow.
Yeah, what do you like so much about the Junior Rangers there, Mark? You've been watching a lot of the games, filming a lot of their games. What do you like about them the most?
They move that puck. They know where each other are all the time. They're strong. They're big. They know what they're doing. They're not just out there playing scramble hockey. They have a plan when they're out there. They make it look easy. Just watching them move through the ice, move into the zone, set up, have someone in front of the net every time. It's not just random. That's what I kind of got from their play, and I don't know if it's just me in my head, but they just seem like a bigger presence. You know, like some, yeah, just maybe bigger kids or just a bigger presence. They impress me, and they absolutely are tops in my category just for their attitude, the parents, everything. The one game as they were playing, I forget who they were playing against. I'm not as good with memory as you are, but they're up 4-0. There was no big cheering. There was no, let's keep going. Let's just over the topness. There was none of that. The kids kept playing hard and they kept wanting to score, but when they did score, they didn't go around and hooping and hollering, hand slapping. They just scored, got back to business. The parents, they'd give a small clap, way to go, guys, but that was it. And in my eyes, that is key for just growth.
The sportsmanship and the camaraderie here for all the teams that represent the areas all over North America, and just the support and appreciativeness, the fact that the Brick gets to come back after a 2-year hiatus.
Yes.
Really shows off here, like you said, not just from the support from the parents, but just how excited these players are to, play and enjoy. And a great shot there by Josh Hackett. Josh Hackett over the blocker of Luc Brisebois.
Right in a dead slot. That's the hardest shot for a goaltender. No penalty there?
Mark wanted a penalty. Mike, we wanted a penalty there. What's going on? Giving Honda here a little bit of
they're not listening to us.
They don't. I have 0 pull.
No, 0 pull. That's right.
Color guy gets 0 pull here at the Brick Invitational, which is totally fine by me.
That's all right.
It's all about these players and what they can do to showcase their talents and enjoy this week, and they've done so with tremendous detail and wonderful play here at the Ice Palace at West Edmonton Mall.
That is a great idea that these kids that aren't in the final, they can just still come out for one last game and just play some pond hockey, really. It's like, hey, here's kids from all over North America getting a chance to play with each other.
And we have switched, we forgot to mention, we have switched to 5-on-5 hockey here in the second period.
I was wondering, there seemed to be a few more bodies out there.
So we did switch over, just over 3 minutes here left in the second frame. But yeah, it's probably just to give the players a little more ice time. There's a lot of players.
Yeah, there is, and they all want some ice time. One story I want to talk about is how I got involved with ASTV, and this is kudos going out to Theo himself. I have a son who plays hockey, and they were out in Pilot Mountain playing, and I couldn't be there, so I discovered that ASTV was covering the game, so I could sit at home and I could watch my son play hockey. So I started watching that and became very interested in what they were doing. I thought that was pretty neat that they were airing stuff like this. And so I continued watching ASTV just to see what else they had. And Theo's show came on. It was Wayne's World. And I happened to be just tuning in because I just love hearing Theo's voice. I tell you, he's just got that sultry voice. but him and Wayne Cozier were talking about some really interesting stuff that I'm
going to cut you off just real quick, Mark. We've got another penalty shot here by another Team Alberta, Team Brick Alberta. This time it's St. Louis. See if he can do the same as his teammate Carter White. And a save there by Cody Maselko. Sorry, carry on there, Mark.
Yeah, nice save. Anyways, so I happen to be watching Wayne's World, hosted by Theo, and he had Wayne Kozier on talking about hockey advisors. And I and my wife know nothing about hockey and the ins and outs. So listen to that program. I learned a lot. It got me involved with Wayne Kozier, and then I was doing some commentary just for my son's team when they were local, because there's a lot of kids from all over Canada on his team. And then Glenn Munford got a hold of me and said he liked what he heard and asked if I was interested. And I thought, what the heck? It seems like a really good program, and it sure is. ASTV has just got everything. If you want to tune in almost any single day, there is different shows being hosted by so many different talented people like Theo, like Cody, and it's just very interesting, and you will learn stuff. And so I really encourage you to do that. And
another post, and that one goes in.
Oh.
Matthew Cudio labeling the far post.
Wow.
Ding it in. Makes it a 7-3 hockey game here for the Wakeston division.
That seemed to come from nowhere. Just
these kids, they aim for that far post. That is something we've seen from all 14 teams. They aim for the far post, they aim for the far pad, looking to get the rebound for their other counterpart joining the rush. And that's so important for that goaltender, that rebound control we've seen from the netminders doing what they can do with that puck to steer the puck aside away from harm is truly amazing at this age. But yeah, your son Trey, I believe, correct?
Yes, Trey, yeah.
So Trey's now with, Trailblazer Hockey Advisors and Wayne Kozier, and Wayne's a guest on my show every Tuesday, or usually every Tuesday. We talk about everything hockey, and mostly about junior hockey and the balances and differences between junior hockey in Western Canada. Wayne's a wealth of information when it comes to Western Hockey League, the different juniors amongst the provinces. And that'll bring us to the end of 2. We're going to take a break here from the commentary. We're going to try and get a couple players interviewed here when we have this chance. We'll take a break here. We'll be back here. Don't go anywhere.
Nope.
We're going to interview here some of these players, and then we'll take a quick break during the intermission. We're between the second and third period. The Brickley Showdown, first ever. Bryce, what's it like playing against players that you've played against all week, but also teammates you've never played with?
It's a lot of fun. It's really fun playing with new kids, and they're all really good, so it's...
What have you really enjoyed most about this tournament, Luke? Playing here, getting a little bit of puck now time on the Sunday, but what have you enjoyed most about being in Edmonton?
You just can have fun here, and you can make new friends and stuff.
Did you guys go to the beach party last night? What was so fun about the beach party?
The wave pool, and in the drop slides. Yeah, the wave pool.
Both liking the wave pool. Okay, so 20-minute period left. Who would you like to say hi to back home, Bryce?
My mom.
Hi to Mom. And Luke, what do you want to do for the rest of the summer? Any plans?
Just baseball.
Luke's going to play some baseball. Bryce says hi to his mom. Thanks, guys. Go ahead and get a little bit of rest before the third period. We put the two Drews together. Two of my favorite jerseys. I loved all the jerseys today. Well done. Drew, what's it like out there playing with new teammates?
That's fun.
Drew, what was it enjoyable playing with your guys throughout the entire week? What did you enjoy most about the week?
Probably just like playing in a mall and meeting lots of people, and it was just awesome.
Do you play in malls in Detroit?
No.
How weird is it seeing a whole bunch of fans all over watching you guys play and just getting so excited after goals and penalties and just hearing the cheers?
It's weird.
It's weird. How about you, Drew?
It's pretty weird, but it's pretty cool too.
Awesome. What do you guys like about hockey so much? Why do you enjoy this game so much that we love to play?
It's just fun. I just love it, and I love skating. Skating's fun.
Do you remember how old you were when you first started skating?
I was 3.5, I think.
3.5. How about yourself, Drew?
I think I was 3, yeah.
It's really amazing, guys. I really want to thank you so much for joining. And I'm glad. Did you both enjoy the week?
Yeah.
Okay, great. You guys get a little bit of a break, and we'll see you at the third period. Thanks so much. Theo with ASTV, talking to two Drews, a Bryson and Luke, all from the Wixton and Styles divisions. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with some third period commentary right after this. Third period action here for the first annual Brickley Showdown at the Brick Invitational 2022. Theo Tutkulik here from ASTV. Going to be joined by a cumulative group of behind-the-scenes people. Today was Cody Wall, as well as Mark Kincaid. Joining me here for a little community banter back and forth as we see the, I don't want to say all-stars, but the player selections from both the Styles and the Wigston divisions here. 7 teams aside, 6 of them represented here in this game as we will await the championship final at noon between the Connecticut Junior Rangers and the Team Minnesota. Should be a all-American final, as we saw in the 2011 group.
Yeah, and 2 different teams coming from 2 different ends of the spectrum. You know, you got Connecticut, who, as mentioned numerous times on the broadcast, is trying to go for a three-peat essentially with this 2-week tournament, winning it last week, and then now making it to the finals. And then you have Minnesota, who I got a chance to sit down with their coach Billy Hennigan, and he said they've been to the finals a number of times, but just never been able to get over that hump.
That shot almost took out the players. Flying pucks is an understatement, but yes. What was with the get-up? Did you get an idea to chat with them about their outfits behind the bench?
Well, part of the story I heard was because the head coach Billy Hennigan's luggage got lost the first week. That he kind of had to live out of the stores here, was the story I was told. And then I don't know if it was originally the idea that the other coaches kind of tagged along with the fancy get-ups, but it's become a theme here, and it's almost become a storyline in itself.
We saw the Minnesota coaches wearing different attires, golf attires, the green and yellows, the shoes. And then we also saw some of the fans. The fans, you can't say much about. I mean, the signs everywhere, the jersey appreciations, as well as the cutouts of all the players. We saw a couple of whiteouts from the Manitoba team. Just amazing support for these young players, leaving it out on the ice all week here at the Brick Invitational.
Yeah, and it really has been a family affair, like you said. Just the support, more than just on the ice. Just going the extra mile, like you said, with the cutouts, hanging up the jerseys, the away jerseys or home jerseys, whatever one they're not wearing. Just been a great overall experience here.
Absolutely. No, and these kids are certainly ecstatic to keep playing this game here. A lot of them first time ever playing in Edmonton, but also first time ever playing in a mall setting. And just seeing the random, fans on the second floor kicking around while the mall is open as well. And the first floor, the first tier of fans right along the glass area. A lot of families, a lot of moms, dads, grandparents, kids, siblings. As we see our 2 new goaltenders here. It looks like it's Luke Brisebois still in net for the Styles division. And it is Brady Rancourt, I believe, for the Toronto Pro Hockey. I think he's on my list.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get one more goaltender change.
Ethan Fullerton, my apologies, for the Toronto Pro Hockey.
Yeah, looks like we're going to get one more goaltender change for the Styles division, because they do have 4 goaltenders, so they haven't been doing exactly the 1 per period model. But, Brisebois getting his time here, and I like to think that we're probably going to get one more goaltender change there.
Great save there by Fullerton, going back and forth. Goaltending was on display all week, Cody. Tremendous glove saves, pad saves, but just as equal were the shot selections by these players. Understanding how to find ice, go against the grain, and the wrist shots real high and close. Shots from every angle. Just tremendous hockey sense around the net. And that goes from the coaching aspects of things. Like these kids, not only are they watching Hockey Night in Canada like we did back in the day, they have YouTube and Twitter and TikTok and all these wonderful bits of technology to see how their creativity can be pushed to the limits. And these kids have done a tremendous job with that.
So true. These kids nowadays, they are growing up, like you said, with all those other social platforms where it is so much more easier to see highlights from the big boys in the NHL, but also, now we're going to get a chance to broadcast and post some of their highlights. Like you mentioned, there was a number of highlight reel saves, highlight reel goals that, you would, the only other place you can see it is on Hockey Night in Canada, some of those moves.
Another save by Ethan Fullerton, stretching out, making a phenomenal save on the junior Bruin there. Manolakis there had the last chance on Fullerton and just could not get it above the pad as we start smelling the cookies again. I know Rory likes to mention those are my favorite cookies. To be honest, everyone at home, I have not had a cookie yet this week. I've held away, I've stayed away. Coffee, yes, cookie, no.
I've told myself before I leave this mall, I gotta try one of those delicious smelling cookies at least once. So maybe after today's championship game, get a chance to go over there and try one of them.
As you see the final netminder switch here for the Styles, it is Zinner from Team BC Junior Canucks in. Jackson Zinner, who again had a tremendous tournament as well. A phenomenal goals against average throughout the week. Just could not, just didn't have enough offense, I think, BC. But
not sure if you got a chance to speak to him in one of the player of the games. Hard to remember who all was working some of those games and who were the player of the games for those games. But, Zinner was a player who you could just see when getting interviewed. He was a guy who just seemed so giddy and happy to be here. His emotions just were contagious. You could tell, listening to his interview, how excited he was to be here. It really, me watching it from behind the screen here, listening to his interview, really, it was so wholesome and enjoyable to listen to his experience here.
Brock Manders here doing a couple of loops, trying to get his players back on side, passing to his line mate Hackett. Gets checked there by DiPlacido. DiPlacido, really when you see DiPlacido open up the wheels, he can fly. And that's when he does his best work, when he gets wide open ice, uses his speed wide, and he's got a tremendous shot in front of the net. Shout out has to go to Conrad and Mike as well, our other tandem that was doing a lot of the play-by-play, as well as Tarsi and Adam for stepping in when we need a little bit more of a break. Truly a great job by everybody here all week long at the Brick Invitational here at the Ice Palace in West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah, definitely been great to have all those guys here for the crew. Listening to, obviously I haven't been doing a lot of the speaking part, more behind the scenes as you mentioned. But you guys definitely, you can tell when you got those long stretches of games, by the end of it, you guys are, as the talent, are ready to go back. Get some coffee, some soothing drinks in your system to kind of help with your throat, because by the end of those games, you can tell you guys are beat.
Dodic looking for the pass there over to Calder again there by Haringa. It's your Haringa we talked to between the second and third period there. Just absolutely loving the fact that he gets to play in a mall. Never played in a mall before. And he really liked that experience, as well as the beach party. So the beach party took place Saturday evening after the final. Once we knew who was in the final, the beach party took place, and a lot of kids had a good time at the wave pool and hanging out and going down the water slides. And
so that beach party, was that were each individual team, or was all the teams that kind of were out of this final championship game got together and had a party?
It was an invitation that it's an annual, just a celebration of doing something off the ice for the teams. And great job there. 2 saves by Zinner. One on Haringa, the other one on Dodic. So great job. Broccolini does never want to. Broccolini could stay on the ice 60 minutes. He could. But we got to get a line change here as Chen carries the puck on Kessler Kennedy. Chen throws it in to Kim. There is Cale Nickel. Cale Nickel around the corner. Turns around to go low. Gets pinned there by Wall against the wall. Some good calls by some of our co-workers. Kind of Luke Bell answering the bell, and wall against the wall, and D to Placido.
Di Placido, that was a good one.
That was out of nowhere. Rory McGoran. Give him credit for that one.
Yeah, he that was one he was saying he kind of wanted cut for his quote-unquote highlight calls of his all-time. Kind of just an interesting one he had mentioned.
Kale Nickel intercepting the pass, carrying it through the neutral zone. Takes it wide on wall. Kim's going in there deep, throws it back, gets it to Chen. Chen keeps it in, gets a shot on, and it gets deflected by St. Louis. Talk about that Team Brick defense throughout the entire week. Solid defensive work. Clearing rebounds, acting as second goal. He's doing a great job. Electing to take the shot off the goal post, but beating Fullerton, but not the goal post. Was Carter, I believe. Kennedy carrying it in, going one-on-one now against the defenseman. And we'll get a 5-on-5 flip over here. Just 9 minutes left in the final frame on this first annual Brickley Showdown here at the Brick Invitational 2022.
And I'd like to see, this be an annual thing. You know, you mentioned this is the first time they've done it. I think that this is such a cool concept here. You got guys out there in all their different teams. You know, you got the Detroit Pro Hockey in their dark jerseys with the Manitoba Ice. We got the Toronto Bulldogs. Just the contrast of all the teams together. It's just an interesting concept.
Well, you think about all the things you could do with, the teams that aren't involved anymore in a tournament like this. You could do a skills competition. You could have done an idea of maybe perhaps Canada versus USA. But this was, I think, probably one of the more proper ways to do things, having each division represented by the 6 teams that aren't involved in the championship, picking 3 or 4 players from each team, giving them their last opportunity to play, not only in the mall, but during the week, because some of these teams go home, some of these teams continue on to another tournament somewhere else in North America. Talking to Lindsay Hammond, and Lindsay's, a very busy person. Great save there, twice by Fullerton, point blank. Crowd giving him an appreciative clap there. Fullerton, a backstop, if you will, here in the third, making all saves, not letting anything by him.
And it looks like the Style or the Wingston got a quick change. They're getting Calder out there and getting his wheels going before any of the Styles division were able to get everybody on him. But here goes Di Placido, a guy like you mentioned, we've talked about numerous times. He was one of those. He's one of those players I would kind of allude to before, just with so much confidence, and it doesn't not that cocky confidence. Just he knows that he's a guy who can be a difference maker when he's on the ice, and as we talk, he gets a chance there.
Fullerton throwing the body in front of that rebound, and another tremendous save off of Di Placido, and the rebound taker there. Just tremendous job by the netminder. Maybe I'll have to chat with him after the game. What do you think, Cody?
I think he sounds like a guy that would be good to talk to. I know we've, for everybody who's tuned in throughout this last week especially, he's a guy that for Montreal often found himself getting either a teddy bear or one of the 3-star trophies, often in the offensive game sheet, having his name called.
Yeah, Flavio leading the week with 9 goals. We'll see Jack Allgood later on at noon, who led the entire week round robin in points. And we talk about that 10-point crew. Go back to that draft year. There were 3 players who scored 10 or more points during their week here at the Brick. This year, 8.
So crazy. You mentioned that, and it'll be so interesting to see. I don't have the quick math in my head right now what the draft year would be for some of these young gentlemen, but it'll be so interesting to see if we had mentioned that there was 10 first-rounders out of the 2013 Brick year. And to see how many
What
from
a
this.
cannon. Great pass by Broccolini over to the junior Bruin. I got to get this name because this is a good one. That was Swinger. No, that was Vincenzo Garana. A great one-timer on the pass by Broccolini. Sorry, Cody.
No problem.
Fullerton finally gets beaten.
Yeah, I just was saying it's going to be so interesting to see how many of these guys, like obviously you got to think that as the tournament caliber steps up as the years have been going on, there's probably been more and more guys that have had their names called in the NHL draft. So to see the talent here.
Got some chemistry going here between the original 6 lineup, between Smart, Grana, and Broccolini. That's 2 now in the shift.
So after doing some quick math there, if I'm not mistaken, I believe for these gentlemen, it would be 2030, if I'm not mistaken, for their age group to reach that possibility of having their names called.
I think that would be correct, yeah. 2030 draft. Where
So-
it will be held, I don't know, but you may see some of those names. Here's some of those names mentioned. 10 out of 32 in the first round, 29 in total throughout the 2022 NHL draft. Played in this very same brick tournament, and their names will then be underlined, perhaps on the wall. The wall being put together just this year, painted with all the participants of the 33 years of the Brick Invitational, and that is in the dressing room hallway downstairs.
And it was interesting to see, I had thought maybe that had been up in the wall for a number of years, but it looks like you mentioned just recently, and they have the current players. Like I saw the 2022, 2012 born, and the 2022, 2011 born players' names up there already. So I'm sure for these kids to see their name beside the likes of Austin Matthews, Johnny Gaudreau, a number of players who currently are in the NHL, that's got to be a highlight for them, regardless of where their hockey career takes them after here.
Absolutely, and we know that player development grows, changes over the course of a player's career, and even though those names may not be here, we certainly could hear them being mentioned during a draft day later on. And it doesn't just always have to be the NHL draft. It could be a junior hockey league draft. It could be a commitment to an NCAA program. It could be committed to a CSL, Canadian University program. And,
For sure. And thinking, hockey in general all over the world is getting so good that, it's not just here in North America. We got European countries that are starting to get good. So just the overall talent in hockey in general is just making leaps and bounds here.
Just 2:20 here left in the final frame as we see the Wigston crew having a 9-5 lead on the Styles. Styles getting a couple of goals there between the original 6 line between Boston and Montreal. Good headman puck to Calder there. Calder gets the shot on center, makes the save. Back comes Team Brick, gets checked there. Rowan Odie, we don't mention his name today, but one of those players that played a very consistent tournament for Team Brick.
And a big shout out to our PA announcer here, Marty. I never actually got his last name. I apologize if any relations to Marty are listening, but he's definitely been pumping these kids up and really making the atmosphere here. He's one of the reasons it's so electric here.
He pumps those kids up after every single time they come on the ice.
We got it.
Finish up here with Shift getting out to the blue line, and it looks like it's Cudio gonna race against Wall. Curio takes the shot. Saved there by Zinner as Zinner comes out and cuts the angle. Wall doing a good job to only give him that outside lane. Manders going to get the shot on here as well. Off the blocker and steered away by Zinner. 2 quick saves by Zinner on the Wixton division. DiPlacido with a full head of steam against Chen. Chen keeping the body in front of him. Well done. A little bit of a trip there by Haringa. And we're going to get a delayed penalty. And our next penalty shot. Looks like it'll be the Styles division taking the next penalty shot. And it will be St. Louis again. His second one. St. Louis, couple of moves, dipsy doodles, goes backhand, but there is Toronto Pro Hockey's netminder making the save yet again. So as this period ends, we'll try and get a couple of players here, one from the Wixton and one from the Styles, just to talk about this final game and what the tournament has meant to them throughout the week here at the Brick Invitational at the Ice Palace. The Toronto Pro Hockey goalie and St. Louis for Team Brick.
And it looks like we got to the end here of our Brickley Showdown, and just been a great experience here, as mentioned, throughout the broadcast. A fun little game here put on by the Brick Tournament, and a great way to showcase some of the players that are in here and able to showcase some of their talent. Obviously not able to get every player into this game, but it is nice to see diversity here from each team, and as mentioned, just different styles of play and seeing how they've interacted here. We're going to give Theo a moment here to get down and look for some players. We're going to try and get a couple of interviews here with these gentlemen who are still on the ice and get their perspective of not just this game here that was so entertaining, but also getting their overall experience of the tournament. And looks like we got a couple of players going for a flyby here, and maybe going to get a picture here for the Wingston division, and then probably going to try and arrange one for the Styles division as well. And we got Brickley, the mascot here, out there for a team picture. And getting all the coaches, coaches, the referees, all the players in for this picture. As Theo mentioned, this is something that just recently done. And you can see the smiles on the kids' faces. Obviously this game was a little bit different, not playing for any points, not playing for really morally just like Mark mentioned earlier, almost like a pond hockey game where it's just purely for fun. And I personally enjoyed watching this game, and as mentioned before, getting a chance to be here in Edmonton, Alberta, with such a prestigious it being such a prestigious tournament, and getting to see players from all over North America, something I never thought I'd get a chance to do. So all of the people at the Brick for organizing this tournament, a big shout out to them. They've been doing this for a number of years. Unfortunately, had to take a bit of a break due to COVID, but they've done a great job of getting this, what normally is a 1-week tournament, and get that made and stretched out into a 2-week tournament here. It's been great to see some of the great young hockey talent here. And as Theo mentioned, you got to imagine, if not pro, there'll be a number of players that are going to be hearing their names called in junior leagues, such as the AJHL, the SJHL, possibly even the WHL, even OHL, because we do have Ontario born players here. We have Montreal and Quebec players here. So there's just hockey's future here for Canada and the States looking bright, and so appreciative of all that everybody's done here to put on extremely exciting tournament such as this. Coaches here getting a chance to be a little bit more friendly. When you get a chance to, when you're coaching on the same side, maybe get to compare notes, but not quite as intense as some of the games we had seen. Definitely no rifts that we had seen, no tensions amongst coaches, which is always good, especially because this is a tournament for the kids, and that is what us here at ASTV and everybody here at the Brick as well have really tried to instill here and remember is that these are kids, and it's all about having fun when you're a kid. These guys may end up hearing their names called and playing pro hockey, but this isn't pro hockey here. This is